Thank you so much for staying with us. And it's all about discussion 24-hour economy and the private sector. I want to know how ready the private sector is. As I told you earlier, currently we have Mr. Samson Asaki, who is the Executive Secretary for Exporters and Importers Association of Ghana, who is currently here with us. And we would also be joined by Mr. Ato Aggrey, the General Secretary for Food and Beverages Association of Ghana. Good morning, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
I think last 2 weeks, the president launched the 24-hour economy. And I think Ghana Export and Importers Association play a major role in this very our policy coming to bear.
Yes.
I'd like to find out how did you feel when this was officially launched, and maybe taking a look at the documents. How was the response from Exporters and Importers Association?
Thank you very much. Your name again?
Please, I'm Clement.
Clement, okay. Good morning, and good morning to your cherished viewers and listeners all worldwide, and then especially to the business community, which I represent as the Executive Secretary for Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. I'm happy to be here. This is my first time of being here, even though I've been here in CLOG TV, but this is my first time, and I'm happy to be here.
You're welcome.
Thanks to your management and staff and to your producers for identifying some of us. See, they want to bring us. We are grateful for the privilege given to us.
You're welcome.
Yes, you know, Importers and Exporters Association was established in the year 2014.
Okay.
One of the cardinal pillars that we've been fighting in this while is that we are doing a little export in terms of non-traditional commodity.
Okay.
So every year when you see the Ghana Statistical Service, when you see the Bank of Ghana or Ghana Export Promotion Authority trying to say, okay, we have exported $100 million or we have brought this number of millions of dollars as a proceed of export. If you want to dissect, to segregate it, to know, okay, apart from gold that brought this quantum of money, apart from diamond and bauxite, apart from cocoa, when it comes to the agro-processing area, what has they brought? What's the quantum? We can't specifically give a very good, realistic number to convince Ghanaians that, yeah. But mind you, we do a lot of things here. We do pineapple. Pineapple is needed worldwide. We do mango, so we need to encourage more people to go into mango farming and processing as well. We do a lot of yam. These days in America, we are told that yam, the way we export yam in the raw states, they now want us to add value to it. Okay. So if you're a yam exporter, you should be able to buy yam and then get more workers to peel it off. Okay, then cut it the way you normally cut it and boil it in our traditional homes setups. Okay. So package it, freeze it, and then ship it. So you're adding value to it. If that one gets to the US market, to the UK market, where we call it African market, then what they want is, over there's no time to waste. Yeah. That you come from work very exhausted, and you're not going to pick yam, start peeling off, washing it, boil it, it, and prepare stew. So they just want, when they come from work, open the deep freezer, pick it, maybe soak it for some time, and then put it to silver, then they start boiling. That's the value. So if they were buying it $10, because it's in the house form, now they can buy it $20. So you make more money. Yeah. So this 24-hour economy that the government brought, the main focus is, and the ministry gets here, Ministry of Trade and Agribusinesses gets here. The main focus is to scale up agro-processing, to scale up agri sector, okay? To say, okay, to leverage on, let Ghanaians understand, okay, if you go to the other side, they are good in chili pepper farming. Okay. Let's produce more chili pepper, because in China, we need more chili pepper from Ghana. And they are off-takers. Okay. Not that situation whereby we farm finish, we produce finish, and the farm lands will now be crying that we do not have off-takers. Off-taker here means is that those who will come to buy and process for an export. Okay. So as soon as from the farm gate, it can be bought from there. Okay. Then take it to the pack houses, where we then process it, package it, then for an export. So the objective of the 24-hour economy is to give something like, I call it a morale to whether you are a farmer. And then, of course, one of the things, a farmer is someone who's dropped out of school. If you go to the US and other areas, Vietnam, other areas, it is professionals who does farming in commercialized terms. Okay, so we are talking of not just talking of peasant farmer, where you are farming 4 acres to feed your wife and your children. Okay, I have a wife with 4 children and other dependents with me. Not me farming 2 acres or 3 acres. No, that they call you a farmer. We are talking of commercialized farming. People who are farming about 100,000 of hectares of land, one person farm. Okay. And that is why President Mahama talk about bringing the farming machinery to the district level, whereby if the farming season comes and I cannot buy a tractor, I can't afford to buy a tractor, I can just go to that center where they call a farming service center or so, get a tractor booked, go and farm, plow my, after harvesting, I pay. After harvesting, we should have off-takers to take it from the farm. Okay. Not that a farmer is now saying, I have farm, I have harvest, but there's nobody to buy my produce. That is what we are going to cut off under the authority of the 24-hour economy. So the objective is, what can we do to scale up the production of and the exportation of the non-transit community, especially the agribusinesses.
Thank you very much, Sam. You see,
so it's a good news. So you asked me, how do we feel it? So it's a good news. It's a welcoming news. The business community are so excited. All what we want to do is that we want to know is that if this grant, this farm input, this facilities comes, will we give it to the rightful people? Will it not go to the party opportunity? Because we saw it in the last government, where you go to Exim Bank today, then you ask of those who owe Exim Bank. It is not the importers who bring in frozen chicken, who bring in rice, that they are paying a percentage, meat, that they are paying a percentage to go to make Exim Bank, are the people who are giving the money to go into production for export.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Since you happen to be the Executive Secretary for Exports and Importers Association, when you look at the document, we have no import duty for some specific items in terms of manufacturing equipment and other things. I think the producer will get that flyer on the screen in terms of no import duties. How do you, especially the importers, welcome this very news?
It's a good news. I told you that it's to give a morale to people who want to go to processing, who want to set up factories, who want to set up production, and they need certain mechanism or they need certain machinery to establish that. Okay. And so if I say I'm an agro-processor, what are you processing? I'm processing, I'm adding more value to cashew, I'm adding more value to maybe nut. We are no more going to export the raw state of nut. I'm going to add more value to the yam, as I guess made some examples here.
Yes.
So those machinery I'm bringing for the purpose of processing. Okay. You need not to pay duty to that.
Okay, thank you very much. In terms of exports, to government actually listed some items that they are banned and likely, not necessarily banning the exports, but they are actually trying to make sure that they encourage our manufacturers to produce those things. So realize that if an importer is bringing in those kind of items, they are putting a levy of 2.5% on them, especially items like cement, importing cement out of the country, like the sanitary part and other cosmetics which are supposed to be done locally. But importers turn around to bring them outside the country or bring it outside the country. Do you think that is also a good step?
Okay, so I side with the government.
Okay.
To some extent. Okay. And I also disagree with the government to some extent. One is to give job to our people. That's why I side with the government completely. Okay. Some of the things that we should be able to produce them here. Okay. Now, where I do not side with the government is where the cost of utility tariff is not friendly to manufacturers in this country. If you like, good. I live in Tema. Tema, when we're growing up, has industries. Yeah. That in the morning you will see one company could come to Ashama, let's say 3, 4, 5 buses. Maybe it could be Valco buses, could be Unilever, could be Nestle. I'm talking about the companies that are Coca-Cola, Guinness Ghana, Accra Brewery. You see their buses. They'll come and pick in the morning, people go. They'll come back and pick the afternoon, people go. They'll come back and pick the night, people go. So people were having jobs. It was health, it was good. Today, during that time, nobody is talking about, I don't have a job. Some loyalty here, food and beverage. You would tell the number of people who are reaching out to him that they want a job. Today, those companies, they are still existing. But their scale-up of production is not as it used to be.
Okay.
If you ask them, they'll tell you the cost of production is too high. Utility tariff is killing them. So they have closed down certain lines, production lines, and they're now relying on their sisters companies in other jurisdictions. So you won't you be surprised that you see Unilever exporting Pepsodent from Unilever Kenya to Ghana. Meanwhile, that Pepsodent line that we're producing, that we're having a number of employees working, running shift, have closed down because the cost of production is very high. Would you not be surprised that you see Unilever Nigeria bringing product to add up to Unilever Ghana? Will you be surprised to go to Nestle Ghana? Then Nestle Ghana is exporting, importing some product that they used to produce here. So government should do a proper auditing to actually understand. Besides that, the district assemblies are also going around for grants, rent, taxes. That is also a killer to the industries. So you go to the industries, you go to the industrial area today, you ask of the manufacturers, they will tell you that cost of utility tariff is making them not to produce up to optimum. You remember when there was this issue in regards to benchmark values, where our friends from AGI, Association of Ghana Industries, used to complain that, look, because they have given benchmark value to the business people, we are getting dumping anything on them, and so, but they have the capacity to produce. Tell date that the government reversed the benchmark values today. If you call my very good friend Akwaba, is it Akwaba? The AGI Executive Secretary, or Humphrey Dakim Ayim, who is the president, ask them that since the benchmark values were reversed today, are they able to produce up to optimum? They are not.
Thank you very much, Mr. Samson. I just like to hold you there. Mr. Aggrey, good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you for joining us. So we have Mr. Samuel Aggrey, that's the General Secretary for Food and Beverages Association of Ghana. Mr. Aggrey, this is a quick one. How do Food and Beverage Association of Ghana welcome the news of 24-hour economy?
Let me first apologize to the viewers for the traffic in town this morning. It's unimaginable. Now, with the Food and Beverage Association, our call, even before this 24-hour service came in, has been that we should let importers do production. Okay. But what are we going to produce? Is it that we are bringing in the very things that we import, the raw materials, and come and process it here, and then put them in packages and then re-export? Or we have to grow our agricultural sector to entice the importers to scale down the import and then invest more in the processing. This has been our call. And therefore, when this 24-hour economy came, we welcome it as a good news. But the 24-hour economy shouldn't be looked at as just for production sake, or we're going to have something like 1D, 1F, where it got to a point that it became political and things were not done properly. People were taking money to invest in that area, and that investment never happened. The agri sector never revamped. So at this point, what we are looking at is to ensure that we walk the talk, as the government itself has said. They are going to ensure that investors come in this area. And who are the investors? The Ghanaian who has the money, and those who have the knowledge and the capability of putting certain things into production for export, and also to service our local market. So whatever that we import into the country, we then have to look at the statistics of what is coming in to ensure that these things are scaled down. People are given the necessary benefits or the incentives that will entice them to put their investment in this area. So when we do that, the capital flight will stay in this country. It will not happen as it used to be. People will then have to put their money down here and invest. But what we also have to look at is, like Samson said, the cost of production, which has been the core of the Food and Beverage Association, that we need to ensure that the cost of production comes down. Now, if you look around the sub-region, and then also outside Africa, the things that comes in and the things that we produce here, most of them are imported into this country. Even what we are producing, similar or the same product are also being imported into the country.
Okay.
Therefore, making it very difficult for the local producers to reach their optimum of production. But what is the problem and what has contributed to this misfall? What is happening is that when you produce here in Ghana, let me take something like Coca-Cola, which will cost you maybe 4 cedis per can. Now, when you bring from outside, it costs you less than 4 cedis, which is around 2 cedis.
Okay.
You understand? So you see most people going across our borders, even across 2 countries, to Nigeria, to import into this country, the same things that we are producing. So you ask yourself, what are our local producers doing? But when we want to export outside our territory into these neighboring countries, it becomes a stumbling block.
Okay.
So therefore, people are not able to export because the cost of production here are very high. So people see that when they bring in from outside to invest in this country, what they are going to face is that they will have a cheaper product to sell, and then rather defeating the idea of revamping our industry and all that. So with the 24-hour economy, what we are looking at is to how we are going to forestall all these things, make sure that we are giving the necessary inputs that will help us to produce more to export. Otherwise, you ask yourself, what are you producing to export? And therefore, if that happens, what will really happen to the investor? Because you export at a higher cost and you are exporting to a lower cost production country. How will it happen? It won't happen that way.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Samuel Aggrey.
Yeah.
In this document, in terms of incentives, I think that now the conversation is about cost of production. We know they've been able to elaborate some incentive that they are going to give on to people, whoever enroll on 24-hour economy. One is in terms of low interest rates for low interest rate for security facilities. Yeah. They are not looking beyond 12%. Currently, we know our policy rate is around 27%, and if they are giving a loan which is not more than 12%, I believe might lead to the reduction in terms of cost of production. We also know of in terms of incentive like time off electricity tariff from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. That is those who will be doing the night shift and all these issues. We know of the no corporate tax initiative in terms of, also we have the 2-shift initiative, that 25% rebate, and we have 3 shifts, which is 55% rebate or 50% rebate. Do you think that all this initiative could amount to to deal with the issue of cost of production? That is making it very low, because now they're also telling us that importing certain equipment into the country in terms for production will be no duty paid on it. So would all this issue resolve the issue we have in terms of cost of production being high in the sector of production? Yes,
one way it will solve part of the problem. Okay. But what are we asking? Every sector need to enroll onto the platform to ensure that the totality of industries in this country benefits. So therefore, if we are looking at certain hours of the night that we need to, because it's similar to traveling outside and then working at odd hours. And therefore, you can take so many jobs, maybe 2 or 3 jobs that you can work on. You work close from here, you rest for an hour, you move on to the next job, just to make sure that you get the necessary money that you want. That is where people are able to remit to their families in this area because of the kind of things that they do over there. Now, we want to replicate the same thing in this country. But that's why I said we must look at the totality of the industry coming in. Now, if we shift certain aspects of production into certain hours, then we need to look at the security, the transport, the kind of salary or wage that will go into it, and therefore the stability of energy that they will use in production. So we must also consider how during the day people will then have to shut down because they are looking at the hours that gives that incentive. But this shouldn't happen. We should be running our system all throughout the day so that people can work in the day, close certain hours, go home, another batch comes in. Maybe if you go to maybe from morning 6 or 7 to maybe 12, you close. Another batch comes in at 1, they close at 5. Another batch comes in at 6, they close at 10. Another batch comes in at 12, they close at 4 or 5. Then the cycle continues, you see. But if we are not careful and we want to peg it towards certain hours of the night, then what will happen is that I will have to wait and produce at certain hours so that I can benefit from that. And I don't think this should be the idea or this is what we are looking at. Because the economy must run 24 hours. That is what it means. Having production all around the clock. Not that certain hours the economy sleeps and then in the night we say we are working in the night. So it contributes to the 24 hours. That is not how I'm looking at it. But we should have a 24-hour system. No, we should look at the agri sector because when it's revamped, what are the things that we need to produce to export? So these are the areas that we need to look at and then invest in that area so that the production will be there. Now, from the farm gate to the production side, very often it happens during the day. So that is when the raw materials are cut from the farms to the production centers. And then they will work on it throughout the night. And then, if you are lucky, during the day by 12, production is ready for export. Then the next cycle also begins. So the farmers also, because they cannot work 24 hours, they will work at certain times. But then the transportation to these areas and then bringing the production sector closer to the farm gate so that certain areas that we demarcate as agricultural zone for particular production, we can bring our production sites closer to these facilities. Electricity must be there, water must be there, the road must be good enough for people to be there. So that if you don't have a facility to stay or for your workers to stay on the farm or the production site, transportation will be easier for them to move from one destination to the other. You see. So it involves so many things. And I'm sure the planners and the thinkers, as they've done, and then the contributions that have gone into it, have considered so many things. Because these are challenges that we need to look at. You see. So as it goes on or it starts, we know we are going to have certain challenges. But the ultimate aim is to make the country run 24 hours, not at the end of the term of this government, but something that will become a legacy for this country, for us to run on in totality of 24 hours. So people can also come into this country and work. So if you are bringing your car manufacturing sector production into this country, we have the places for you. And then as the president said in the manifesto of the document that he presented, he said about 50 enclaves of, as we have like the likes of the free zone areas will be created, or industrial zones will be created around the country, so that at least when this thing happens, because it's not going to happen overnight, what we have now is what we are going to start with. Then as we create the industrial zones, then we know that, yes, we are developing the country like we have in Clement. If this facility has taken off properly, and it has not been a political game, then you can see that certain industries will move their facilities closer to these areas, at least move them from the areas that are congested, and then we create another area for the people to go there. And if you look at it, the housing sector was also closer to the industrial zone itself. So you can see how movement of all these things will happen. So it's a laudable thing that has happened to this country. And therefore, we need to work towards it to make sure that its efficiency becomes a legacy forever for this country.
Thank you very much. Let me bring Mr. Samson in shortly. In terms of exporters and importers, is there anything you would still expect the government to do? When you go to the Ghana Port and Harbour Authority, is there anything that should have been considered in this 24-hour economy in terms of when you go to GRA, or anything you really wanted the government to touch on to really favor more of the exporters and importers that was not touched on?
I think the policy was thoroughly worked on,
Okay.
well researched.
Okay.
You could see the areas that you have made mention, where it has to do with the coming to the tax incentives to boost the morale of the manufacturers. That will win more investors to come into the country, to establish production, identifying the 50 zones, enclaves that manufacturing will be friendly for them.
Okay.
The port is already massaged, and as we speak, Golden Jubilee, reefer containers, MPS are all clearing in the night.
Okay.
There's no time that you say at this point in time we can no longer go to port to work.
Okay.
And so in terms of machinery, we work to improve. We'll definitely, as it kicked off, there will be some teething issues. Definitely, we should be expecting them, so that we are rational, and so that they can work to perfect and to correct those things. Of course, interest rate is one of the key areas that we talk about that is killing investors in this country. So 12%, I hope, is going to be a workable percentage, not just a political statement, because other than that, we've heard so many political talks that at the end of the day that doesn't yield.
Do you think Food and Beverage Association is ready for the 24-hour economy?
Yes, we are.
You are ready?
Everyone, as a Ghanaian and investor in this country, is ready, just looking at the rollout as to how it's going to be. But the most important thing is the cost of borrowing, and then the borrowing to the farmer. This is where the problem is. The cost of borrowing to the farmer should be zero interest.
Zero interest.
Zero interest. And then we look forward
or probably also, agri-insurance.
Also, the sector, the production sector, those who want to borrow money into revamping their businesses, and also set up the processing factories. The cost of borrowing should maybe, if it's 5%, it will be good for this country. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That is from Mr. Samuel Ato Aggrey, General Secretary for Food and Beverage Association. He said if the cost of borrowing could be looked at, that's very interesting. Thank you so much, Mr. Samson Asaki, the Executive Secretary for Exporters and Importers Association, and Mr. Samuel Ato Aggrey, General Secretary for Food and Beverages Association of Ghana. It has been all about the 24-hour economy and the private sector. We wanted to know how ready the private sector is. They've made us understand that indeed they are ready for this very policy. We will be discussing more about 24-hour economy moving forward. We will get to know the next step of government in terms of piloting and where they are going to do the piloting and all these kind of things. So viewers, will be bringing you more updates on the 24-hour economy policy implementation. So keep watching CLOG TV. I am Clement Yaaban Quaye, and I am your host for this very segment. Don't go anywhere. Stay right here with us. Just after this commercial break, we have amazing content for you.